SEC Media Days kicking off down in Hoover, Alabama. Commissioner Greg Sankey with his opening address today. Dick Gabriel was on hand for it.
Sankey led off with general comments about off-the-field incidents, the kind that have people thinking less about SEC sports and more about police blotters. And while he admitted to the seriousness of the incidents, he reminded they are small in number.
The weight of our success is better defined and a much more appropriate focus on the many great things being done by young people who are student athletes.
The SEC may be known primarily for college football, but Sankey pointed out the league is gathering more representation in other areas, and he credited Kentucky's athletics director for part of that.
Joe Oliva has done really good work the last 5 years as a member of the NCAA basketball committee on the men's side. Mitch Barnhart, the Kentucky AD, will move right into that. In fact, they meet this week.
Facilities are growing and improving rapidly in the SEC, including the renovated stadium on the UK campus. Sankey stopped short of calling it an arms race, but said administrators have to be judicious in how they spend money in today's economy.
There's been a lot of great work, I think, done at the University of Kentucky that provides the platform where our student athletes compete. They train, they compete. Our fans are part of that. We've been fortunate to be in a position where there's positive revenue flows. Our administrators need to use that wisely.
At the SEC Media Days in Birmingham, Dick Gabriel, WKYT.
The #1 high school prospect in the class of 2017, DeAndre Ayton, has narrowed his list of colleges down to 3, and Kentucky is on the list. Ayton's high school, Hillcrest Hoops, tweeted his top 3 today. It includes Kentucky, Kansas, and Arizona. Ayton is a 7-foot power forward out of Phoenix. The early favorite in his recruitment is Kansas. His first All-Star game will be a memorable appearance, but tonight the Reds' Adam Duvall will also take part in the Home Run Derby. Duvall is an All-Star for the first time, and his 23 home runs lead Cincinnati. The Louisville native is in his first full season with the Reds, and he's eager to put on a show.
That's part of my game, and so I'm just anxious to see what I can do. I've been in a couple in the past, and But it'll be interesting going against some of the best power hitters in the game, and but I just want to have fun with it at the end of it all.
And Jordan Spieth withdrew from the Olympics. That means the top 4 players in the world will not play. Spieth cited health reasons for not going to Rio. Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, and Jason Day also are out. Spieth is replaced by Matt Kuchar. Bubba Watson, Ricky Fowler, Patrick Reed will also play for the United States. And that is an impressive group, but you would like to see the top 4 players in the world there. Sam Amber.
Rob, a final check of your First Alert forecast is next.
Then on the CBS Evening News, the Pokemon Go virtual reality game has become very popular around the country, but how safe are you when you play it? We have a traffic alert for people in Madison County. Part of a major road will be closed the next 2 weeks for repairs.
US 25 is now closed between Colonel Road and Clay Lane, just north of Richmond. Road crews are replacing a culvert along that stretch. The culvert has been washed out many times the past few years because of heavy rain and flash flooding. Crews had a temporary fix in place, but the new repairs will make it permanent.
2 years ago, it flooded out and washed out down there, and they come in and fixed it. But they done a poor job, spending taxpayers' money poorly, and I figured they're going to have to come back and do it again.
Detours are set up along the road, but state transportation leaders say that larger trucks must use Interstate 75, which runs parallel to US 25.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, for many of us, it is 3 nice days in a row. Weather-wise across the Bluegrass State, doesn't get a whole lot better than the past 3 days for the middle of July, entering what should be typically the hottest part of the year. That is not the case right now, obviously. We look outside, 9 live sky cams, all of them finding a similar view, mix of sun and some clouds across the entire area. Temperature change now compared to the same point yesterday. we're just a few degrees warmer in a lot of cases. Southeastern Kentucky basically on par with what we had 24 hours ago. Temperature-wise, low 80s southeastern Kentucky, mid and upper 80s for the rest of the area. Not a whole lot of humidity, so we're not talking about a heat index by any stretch of the imagination out there today. Defender Radar Network is picking up on a couple of little showers trying to go up here into Lincoln County. Southern parts of Garrett County. Isolated is the name of the game this evening, and you know what? We can see those little showers into Lincoln County from our live sky cam. Looking toward the southeast, Stanford, don't be surprised if you don't hear a little rumble of thunder at some point over the next little bit. Additional stuff trying to pop here into Wayne County around Lake Cumberland. We've had to get off the water from time to time because of some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Moisture lifting its way to the north from the Tennessee Valley and especially into parts of the deep south. Severe thunderstorm warnings out for the Atlanta area. See all this juice into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia? That'll be on top of us as we go into the day tomorrow. Then by later in the week, cold front that is into the high plains will be right on top of us. Forecast tomorrow. Temperatures again, mid-upper 80s. It's going to feel a little more tropical tomorrow. Humidity comes up, and watch for some thunderstorms to blossom into the afternoon. Not an all-day event, but any storm that goes up tomorrow can put down some very heavy rains and can be a little on the strong side. Through the day, new hour by hour is in. Notice that little complex of storms heading into the bluegrass region through noon. Then it's kind of game on for these little thunderstorms to roam across the area. Get under one of those, you'll know it. It'll put down some heavy rains. Wednesday, let's do it all over again with temperatures that will be back into the mid and the upper 80s. May end the day with some thunderstorms around as we go into Wednesday night. Breaking down the next 3 days. So a few storms around tomorrow. Watch for some locally heavy downpours. Then by the time we hit Wednesday, I don't think it's quite as stormy as what we get tomorrow, but steamy temperatures out there. Keep an eye on late Thursday for the possibility of a strong thunderstorm. That's your breakdown of the next 3 days. How about the next week? Thunderstorms will increase again this weekend and early next week. And over the next week and change, we may put down an additional inch, 2 or 3 into much of central and eastern Kentucky. So if you're thinking this is a drought summer, forget about it. It is not one of those summers. Again, it has been a long time since we've had a hot and dry summer across the bluegrass state, and that's a trend. It looks like it's going to continue over the next week on a stormy note and a steamy note with daytime highs mainly into the mid and the upper 80s. So again, some heavy downpours over the next week.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Tonight, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is in Lexington. Right now, he's attending a private fundraising event at the Aviation Museum of Kentucky. But as Monique Blair tells us from Bluegrass Airport, it's also drawn some protesters.
The parking lot in front of the Aviation Museum of Kentucky was packed with cars as well as Secret Service as the fundraiser for Donald Trump's campaign kicked off just about an hour ago. Just a few minutes before 5 o'clock, we watched as Donald Trump's airplane landed at the Bluegrass Airport. Before he came to Lexington, Trump stopped in Virginia Beach and talked about the Dallas police officer murders.
Yet we've also seen increasing threats against our police and a substantial rise in the number of officers killed in the line of duty. Very big rise. America's police and law enforcement personnel are what separates civilization from total chaos.
Also this afternoon, an anti-Trump press conference was held at the Bluegrass Airport. The Reverend Nancy Jo Kemper, Kentucky's Democratic candidate for the 6th Congressional District, said Trump doesn't want to lead the United States of America. Instead, she says he wants to lead the divided states of America.
So we today challenge Donald Trump to consider the hopes and feelings of millions of Americans he's insulted and demeaned.
Now, those attending this event will have to pay more than $5,400 per couple if they want to take a picture with the presumptive Republican nominee. In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
As for Trump's opponent, Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, we learned today that she will speak at the NAACP National Convention in Cincinnati next week. She's scheduled to speak Monday, the same day the Republican National Convention begins in Cleveland. A top recruit narrows his list of schools.
Cal getting a good look at DeAndre Ayton at the Peach Jam. He now has it down to 3. And tonight at the All-Star game, it's the Home Run Derby. The Reds' Adam Duvall out of Louisville will take part. Stay with us. That's next in sports.
A man accused of killing a Kentucky couple answered to murder charges today. What family members of the victims told us after the hearing.
So we're here to help out any way we can. We're supporting each other.
How firefighters pay tribute today to a Lexington firefighter who died after battling cancer.
As law enforcement and health leaders battle Kentucky's drug epidemic, how they're also trying to prevent it from spreading HIV.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. He says he's not guilty. Today, a man accused of killing a northern Kentucky couple answered to murder charges in court.
And this comes even as police are still searching for the couple's bodies. Craig Pennington was arraigned in Washington County this afternoon. The couple, Robert Jones and Crystal Warner, was last seen in Washington County last Sunday. Hillary Thornton has the latest on the case in our top story at 6.
Craig Pennington, a convicted felon with, according to the judge, an extensive out-of-state history in addition to facing charges out of Meade County here in Kentucky, making his first court appearance in Washington County, accused of killing Robert Jones, known as Bobby, and his girlfriend, Crystal Warner.
Just let him to know that we love Crystal and we love Bobby. I would like everybody to come together and help us find my family.
Pennington was arrested 5 days after the couple was last seen or heard from after a witness told investigators he saw Pennington shoot and kill the couple. Their bodies have yet to be found. Following Pennington's arraignment, friends and family of the murdered couple coming here to the property the accused killer rented from Jones. It was the last place they were seen alive. The couple was last seen alive checking on the Texas road rental property Jones owned. Family members say he was having some problems with the tenant, who we now know is Pennington.
We're not going to give up till we find them. We're going to keep trying.
Family members all along fearing something went wrong at this cabin tucked in the hills along Texas Road. Those fears confirmed by police. Friends and family now searching several areas between that vast property and where the couple's vehicle was found abandoned off of Interstate 75 in Georgetown.
You know anything, anybody that was here that night, please come forth and help us find them. Please tell the police where we can, all lay them to rest.
In Washington County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
The judge set Pennington's bond at $2 million.
Now to breaking news we continue to follow out of Michigan tonight. Police say that 2 bailiffs have been killed in a shooting at a courthouse. It happened late this afternoon in St. Joseph. Police say the suspected gunman has died following a shootout, and they say a deputy sheriff was shot. He is in stable condition. Investigators say some civilians were also injured, but no word on how serious. The CBS Evening News will have the latest at 6:30 coming up shortly. Police have arrested a man they say tried to kill his mother and stepfather in Knox County. Yesterday afternoon, 35-year-old Joe Gibson was riding in a car with Connie Smith and Randy Smith when police say he cut their throats. Police say Connie Smith's brother, who was also in the car, drove them to a nearby home for help. And the woman who lives there says her grandson answered the door.
He said, "Mama, I think you need to come down here." He said, "There's 2 people down here in the car," and said, he said they both had their throats were cut.
Police later arrested Gibson and charged him with attempted murder. They say that Connie Smith was treated and released from the hospital, but Randy Smith is in critical condition. Friends describe him as a man who loved his family and cared about his community. He even helped get a bill passed that extends benefits to the families of Kentucky firefighters who die of certain types of cancer. Today, hundreds of people gathered to say goodbye to Lexington firefighter Matt Loxton, who died from cancer last week. His funeral was held this afternoon in Louisville, where he lived. This video showing how firefighters and others saluted Loxton as the funeral procession passed by. Sean Moody tells us how people remembered him.
Matt Loxton made a big impact on people across Kentucky. He was from here in Louisville, but he served with the Lexington Fire Department for about 10 years. He was also a big part of getting the firefighter cancer bill passed this past legislative session. Today, those firefighters from all across Kentucky gathered here at Northeast Christian Church to say goodbye. Lexington Fire Captain Dustin Whited hates days like this one.
Yeah, this is not the first time. Hopefully it's the last. Well, a day like today, it's a big deal. I mean, we're there. Everybody's hurting right now, and everybody knows it. So we're here to help out any way we can. We're supporting each other, you know, just asking if anybody needs anything, offering condolences, things like that.
Inside, the church speakers talked about the legacy Logsdon left behind, the cancer bill, putting other people's lives ahead of his own, and being generous with his time. Lexington Fire Chief Kristen Chilton said we all need to honor that legacy. These firefighters also talked about the brotherhood of the fire service.
The fire department, we talk about it and people say it all the time, but we really only get to prove it on really good days and really bad days, and this is one of those.
As Logsdon's procession pulled away from the church, along with the truck he used to ride, Whited said Logsdon would always be a part of their team.
He's Engine 8, so I mean he will always be Engine 8 from now on.
They also talked a lot about family inside here. As Logsdon's funeral service was wrapping up, the speaker asked every firefighter in that room to stand up. He then told Logsdon's wife and 3 children that was their family now, and they'll always be there for them. In Louisville, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Tremendous support there for him and the family. There's another fundraiser for Logsdon's family on July 19th at Connemara Golf Course in Nicholasville.
We had a nice break from the storms over the weekend, but tonight we are tracking a few of them over parts of southern Kentucky. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now with an early check of that forecast.
Yeah, a little isolated action as expected, southern, southeastern parts of the area. A lot of that, though, beginning to dissipate, although it's back in earnest as we go into the day tomorrow. Temperatures out there not bad at all. Another below normal temperature day in the books for eastern and southeastern Kentucky, where we struggle to get into the middle 80s. It's the middle of July. We should be close to 90 in a lot of cases. Live Skycam looking toward the southeast. Notice a little thunderhead trying to pop up there in the distance. A lot of mid and upper 80s. Humidity, though, is not responding very much in the short term. It's only 39%, so a very nice evening is in store across central and eastern Kentucky. Though we're looking toward the south and not seeing a whole lot of action. Again, isolated is the name of the game as we go through the evening hours, and especially across western and southern parts of the area. But all this juice that is lurking to our south will increase as we go into Tuesday, and thunderstorm chances will increase as humidity starts to come up as well. Guys, we'll track a new hour-by-hour forecast and show you how the heavy rain threat returns back into the picture over the next 7 days.
The HIV outbreak in Scott County, Indiana, where there are now 190 cases, was a warning sign for other counties dealing with intravenous drug abuse. Many Kentucky counties were targeted as high risk by the CDC for a possible outbreak of HIV. At the same time, the number of overdose deaths in this state continue to climb. WKYT's Marina Combs has this report.
We met with him to talk numbers. He compiled stats and spends much of his time trying to understand them.
The worst thing, the thing that jumps out at me the worst is 1,248 deaths.
Van Ingram's yearly report on overdose deaths is grim.
And that's 1,248 lives wasted. That's 1,248 families that had to suffer through this. And it's just unnecessary.
The numbers are up, and he says not coming down anytime soon.
It scares you to think what else is out there and what's coming.
What's here now is fentanyl, a drug at least 50 times more powerful than heroin, made in China, bought by Mexican cartels, and mixed with anything.
We have an obligation, I think, to let the public know of the danger that's out there, and this danger is out there.
The number of deaths spiked from 121 in 2014 to 420 last year for fentanyl. That's 34% of all overdose deaths in the state.
So we've taken a bad problem and it's gotten much worse.
And the problem is causing more problems.
Needle sharing can be the mechanism by which people get HIV and hepatitis C.
Which takes us here to the Fayette County Health Department. Director Craig Humbaugh.
Our job in public health is to try to recognize, is there an uptick or a swing, and try to prevent that from turning into an outbreak.
Because the threat is there, overdose deaths are a sign of something else on the horizon. The CDC's report flagging counties with the most chance of an HIV outbreak focused hard on Kentucky. 54 of the top 220 counties listed in the report were in Kentucky. Half were in the eastern part of the state.
This is an unfortunate consequence. It's tied into substance abuse and injection drug use.
In Fayette County, 900 people are reported to have HIV right now. They are keeping that number in check, in part, they say, by having a needle exchange program.
It's not a magic bullet, but it's a tool for us to help prevent the spread of HIV and hepatitis C.
The program is controversial, but growing, as more and more counties are offering the exchanges.
So this is a safe place for them to dispose of their needles rather than disposing them elsewhere in the environment.
And the injection abuse, Van Ingram says, is tied to the overdose deaths, a deadly cycle that's causing a domino effect from drug use to disease.
There's just too much opioid addiction in this country and in this state. And it's the worst drug epidemic this country's ever been in, and it's not going away anytime soon.
As for Fayette County's needle exchange, since they started about a year ago, they've gotten 12,000 needles and given out 13,000. They say they see about 15 to 20 people every Friday for the exchange. As for the HIV numbers, they say they've remained fairly stable for the past few years, but they haven't gone down either.
Depressing. When you talk about needle sharing, you also have to factor in hepatitis C, which I understand Kentucky has the highest rate in the entire country for.
Yes, and Van Ingram made the point that those numbers are going to go up because with all the needle exchanges, it's easy to get tested when you're at those exchanges, so we're going to see an increase in those numbers.
All right. An interesting look, Miranda. Thank you. Well, if you normally drive a busy road in Madison County, you'll have to find another route for the next few weeks while road crews have closed it next.